27th. I am 5,400 words behind, and I've already written nearly 600 for today. This is where I'm at. I am in bed at 7:45 in the evening. We're all sick here. Even both the cats threw up yesterday. So, it's going well. Day 29. Hi. It's day 29. I have written 531 today so far. I am over 6,000 words behind. Which is grand. It is day 30. It is 8:20 in the morning. I have been writing on my phone in Evernote since 7:30, and I've written about 800 words in 50 minutes on my phone, which is always a bit slower anyway. I have just over 4,000 words to go today. I knew that I was going to have to sprint to catch up. I think I wrote something like 1,700 yesterday, just to kind of keep on track, not get further behind. Yeah, and I have been working on it since 7:30, so I think I've got 4,060 words to go. I'm just at the 5-point finale, using the Save the Cat methodology. I'm just making my second tea of the day, and I should be able to finish today as long as I can come up with enough story. This is the first story, I think, or at least novel-length story that I've ever written that is one point of view. Usually I switch between two characters so that you get two sides of the story. I think this is my 16th novel-length piece, and it's the first one I've written with just one point of view, and I'm running out of things to say because normally I would have written half of it with another character's viewpoint. But I'm so close to the 50,000, and I would like to at least complete the experiment of a 50,000 word piece, which just has one point of view character in terms of the writing. So we shall see. So the kettle's boiled, I'm making my second tea. I'm probably going to go back to bed and continue writing on my phone for a little bit, and then when my husband wakes up I will move into the lounge and start typing away on my laptop. So I think I should finish. I don't think I'll have any issues with that, except it could be a very long, drawn out day because I technically won't be able to focus on anything else until the words are done, because this is the last day, this is the last chance. But equally, I don't know what I'm going to do to fill 4,000 more words. I've definitely got another 1,000 at least in the scene the section I'm kind of currently writing, and then there are technically enough scenes to fill 4,000 words, but whether or not I have the creative space to make that flow and be able to write that easily I guess remains to be seen. But I will catch up when I'm done. It's 2:15. I'm 800 words away from winning. I did it. Hello. It's December 5th. I've had a hell of 2 weeks. I've been struggling the last 2 weeks quite badly. But I'm finally in a place and actually finished my day job stuff that I can sit down and talk a little bit about National Novel Writing Month. So this was my 10th year, so I started in 2009 and I took 2014 off, and every other year I've attempted and every year I have won, including this year. So my grand total for the month of November, I wrote 50,103 new words of fiction. I can say that by the end of it, I pretty much hate the story, but that's not unusual for Nano. I tend to use NaNoWriMo as a little bit of a creative inspiration, a bit of motivation. It gets me through the winter, to be honest. It's a little bit of a... in cognitive therapy, we talk about behavioural activation, about scheduling and activities, and for me, National Novel Writing Month is a wellbeing practice, even though it's stressful in its own way. So I did write nearly 5,000 words on the final day. Thankfully it was a Saturday, so that worked. And yeah, unfortunately there was a project at work and the timescales clashed, and it basically took up all of my November with day job stuff, which then meant that I felt very stressed getting this done. And I want to say I didn't do any extra for my work. And one of the reasons I think I struggle so much with NaNoWriMo is because I was doing extra outside of my day job hours for day job. But that's all over now. It's the 5th of December. I've completed my 10th National Novel Writing Month and I won. The last 2 or 3 years, I have not gotten as much out of National Novel Writing Month as previously. I would say that in 2016 it was definitely a bit of a saving grace. It was definitely something that I needed, and I used it fully. That's when I started using it as a well-being tool. Definitely had to use it. I had to have something that I could focus on, and that was amazing. And of course it's where I started writing. So I now have 3 short stories published in anthologies, and a couple of things published elsewhere, just sort of articles and things, and it's all because I began writing in November 2009 in my university room around the lectures. So I have a lot to say about National Novel Writing Month and what it's done for me, and how the 10-year journey has progressed, and how much I am appreciative of its existence. I still recommend it to everybody and anybody. I am now wondering, particularly with the last 2 years in a row, how helpful it is for me to keep pushing myself to do it. And that feels really strange because this is how I started writing. And then in 2013 I started my writing blog, and I started actually submitting things. I think my first publication was in 2015, and then I had one in 2016 and one in 2018. I think it just cusped the Christmas January. So actually I want to say 2019. Let's look this up because I don't remember. Okay, so I started to talk about my stories and then look at what years they all came out, and then I realised that one of the links didn't work, so I'm back now. Yes, so essentially I started writing I started doing NaNoWriMo, National Writing Month, in 2009. I had my first short story published in anthology in 2015. That was the Twice Upon a Time. Fantasy, folklore, fairy tale and myth reimagined and remastered. So I had Twice Upon a Time, I had a story in Twice Upon a Time, which was a retelling of a Welsh kind of myth, I guess, a Welsh kind of story. And then in 2016, one of my stories was published in Fight Like a Girl. And then this year, The Jackal Who Came In From the Cold was published. So 2015, 2016, 2019, although the 2019 was in January, and it was kind of on the cusp of things. I am planning to probably write a more, I was going to say formal, and then I was going to say long-winded. I will probably write a little bit more about my thoughts on the whole process, what I learned in the 10 years, what I'm thinking about in terms of the future. But the thing that really, I suppose, hit me this year is it did not help with my mental health. I did not attend a single write-in. I did not go on the Discord and do sprints with people live. I think I participated in 7 or 8 sprints on the Twitter channel, Nano Word Sprints, and I did a couple of sprints on Facebook Messenger with a friend of mine who started Nano but then just decided not to finish. And for me, the community aspect was always a solid 50 to 60% of the reason that I did it. I am, apart from generally in the last, certainly the first 5 years of NaNoWriMo, I was writing 100 to 150,000 words per year. And that would include Nano sometimes, or it would include NaNoWriMo, but it's not the only time of year I write, whereas now it's kind of moved to the point where I do not write, and this was my attempt to get back into writing, and it felt very forced, and I think I may have, possibly for now at least, learned all I can learn from NaNoWriMo as it currently is, where I currently am. Doesn't mean I won't return to it in the future, because I would love to, and I've loved all my time, and I will continue to support them, but I'm not sure if I should be putting myself through the difficulty and the challenge at this current point in my life when I am not, it's not giving me that creative outlet in a way that is beneficial, and it is not bringing me a story at the end of it that I can use. And I've noticed in the last couple of years that the story is not something I will probably ever return to. Whereas when I began, and in fact I have reworked 4 of my NaNoWriMos and even submitted 2 of them to agents, one of which was requested in full by a couple. So those feel like actual projects that are my babies. I want to work on them, I want to continue submitting them, look at sort of the publication process, edit them, etc. I've got a few stories, works in progress, that I want to get to that point, and I'm going to continue working on. National Novel Writing Month does not actually benefit that particular goal in any way. And I think I just need to really consider before I sort of automatically go into it next year. This year being the 10th year, it felt kind of momentous, it felt quite big, it felt like this is your 10th year, this is 11 years since you began, because I had that 2014 I missed due to job and relocation and moving house and stuff and all those changes. But I think this month really made me realise, I mean, I already know that I can write 50,000 words in 30 days. And if I don't have a job, I can write 80,000 words in 27 days. I did that when I was between jobs in 2012. So I don't need to prove that I can do it. I can certainly write 1,500 to 2,000 words a day after work,
without too much of an issue if I know what I'm writing and I'm not completely and utterly exhausted. So I don't need to keep proving that. And this year I didn't go on the forums, I didn't have the community, I didn't do anything. And actually, I may as well have not done NaNoWriMo this year. Like, I got the pretty badge. Every year they give us every year so far they've given us a 50% off Scrivener. I have been using Scrivener since 2009, and I got the 50% coupon in 2009, and I'm still using it, and I don't need a new coupon. So there is no real... Hi, Amber. There's no real incentive for me to keep doing something that is not serving me, that I don't feel I'm benefiting from. I'm getting too distracted now. Hello? What's up? It's your brother. He lives here. Please don't gob in my tea. Whatever I was saying. So I will write a post when I know a little bit more about what my head is doing. And when I have hopefully recovered a little bit in terms of my own mental levels of exhaustion that November has brought to me, that I'm still suffering from on the 5th of December. So, yeah. But I did want to make sure, having this been my first year of doing the vlogs and doing the updates, I wanted to finish it. I wanted to make sure that I had a final video for the end of National Novel Writing Month. I've learnt, I think, that I don't want to keep vlogging, and it's not necessarily the medium for me, which is useful to know. That was a very useful thing to learn this month. But in terms of the National Novel Writing Month challenge itself, that's, I guess, where I'm at. I would love to know, especially if you've got to the end of this video, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know how many times you've done it, what you got out of it. As I say, in previous years, the community has been massive. The forums have been so useful. I will still be I check the forums all year round for like ideas when I'm getting stuck with my stories anyway. So that is an invaluable tool. And I will continue to support kind of the idea of it, as well as support them where I can. And I guess I would just like to know how other people are finding it. Was it your first time? I'm very much aware that the website this year was not ideal for most people, particularly those of us who have been there 10 years and know what the old ones look like. So they actually changed it in 2008, 2009, so I had the same experience pretty much for 10 years, and then this year they completely redid it. They'd done little like updates and graphical changes to the badges and things. This year they completely rebooted it, and certainly in my view, unfortunately, a lot of the more useful features didn't work. So it was really useful to be able to see your writing buddies and how far everyone was along in their stats in terms of reaching the 50k, all on one page. You could have all of your friends on one page and you could see who was winning, who wasn't winning, who was kind of still going, who hadn't written in 3 or 4 days, and you could just kind of use that as a bit of motivation by itself. I just need to get this moment. I don't know if I even got that. Play nicely. That's her tail. Oh, there might be a kitty battle. No? Oh. These are the kitties. Anyway, I'm going to take that hint and leave it there. Let me know how your National Novel Writing Month went. I hope this isn't suddenly too loud. And I will put links down below to all the short stories that I have published in the anthologies, my writing website, and when I put the post up about National Writing Month, I will pop that in the description as well. So if people find this next year or later on and want to know a bit more about my experience of 10 years, then once the post is up, I will link it so that you can read that. thanks for coming with me on this journey, and I hope you have a fantastic December and 2020 and beyond.